Now that I've shown you all the wonderful ways you can draw here in Adobe Illustrator, it is time to put all those skills to the test, literally, with your Adobe Illustrator Logos Midterm. So what I'm going to do here to set that up is go to File and New, and I am going to click on Print, Tabloid. I'm going to set my units of measurement from points to inches, and I want a vertical sheet of paper, a tabloid sheet, which is 11 by 17, and I'll click Create. Then, as with all Illustrator files, you go to File, Place in order to trace. I'm going to come out to my desktop and go to my midterm folder. And again, you want your options to be turned on, so no check marks. I'm going to click Place, just click anywhere on the page, and then with my black arrow I can move that up. And what I would do on this first is set it up as a legitimate template. So on the right I'm going to double click, make that a template. I usually dim it down to 30% so it's easier for me to see what I'm doing. I'm going to create a brand new layer, and you don't have to do a new layer for every logo. You could just do one layer and do all your logos on that one layer. That's fine. Doesn't matter to me. I don't look at layers. I look at your illustration process. And obviously, if I'm on a brand new layer, I'm going to hit D for default colors. Click on my white fill, because the first logo, I'm not drawing a white logo anyway. And I'll hit the question mark key for no fill. First thing I want to do right from the start is get rid of my smart guides. I use them when I need them, not right off the bat. So I'm going to go to View, turn off smart guides, View, turn off snap to point, and I'm going to zoom in on this logo. Okay, before you start drawing, the first thing I would do is save this file that you've now set up. You're going to save it as last name, first name, 363B midterm, and save it to your desktop while you're working. The other thing I would suggest, and I'm not going to do it here on my demo, but what I would always suggest to you is that every time you finish a logo, save your progress. You don't want to get through 4 or 5 and then you're on the 6th logo and then Illustrator crashes. Okay, so save your progress as you go. Now what I'm going to do is start you off with a couple of these logos just to get things up and running. We'll earn you 20 free points on this midterm to go. So I'm going to zoom in one more click here. And when I look at this, obviously the overall shape of this logo is one big circle. So I'm going to switch to my ellipse tool, and I'm going to hold Shift for a circle, click and drag, and as I get a circle about the size of the logo, I'm also going to hold down my space bar and now reposition my circle right here. Kind of line it up along the top and the left, right about there. Now that's still not big enough, so I'm going to only let go of the space bar. And now I continue to pull my mouse with the Shift key, and I can get that circle right around that shape. I let go of the mouse first, then I let go of the keyboard. And there we go. Now this circle, this logo, is basically broken up into these little pizza slices. Okay, so I'm going to draw out one pizza slice. They all share this common outer curve, but they're all at different angles. So I just need one slice of pizza. So I'm going to take my pen tool, and just to prove this, you do not have to be perfect right when you start. In fact, I'm going to go out here, click, click, click. Just get something on the page. Okay, with your white arrow, you can move that anchor point to the corner right there. Move this anchor point up to match that angle. Move this anchor point up to match that angle right there. It's easy enough with your white arrow. Okay, the next step is very, very important. you're going to eventually make this little pizza slice and you're going to make it go around the center of the entire logo. So we need to find where the center of this logo is. So in order to do that, I'm going to select the circle with the black arrow, hit Command R for rulers, and now I need to be precise. So that's when I'm going to use Smart Guides. View Smart Guides, and the thing that goes with that, View Snap to Point. Now I can go right on this top ruler, click and drag down and line it up on the center. If your circle accidentally deselects, just select it one more time. Go to the vertical ruler, click and drag right to the center, and now I have literally marked off the center. So in order to use these guides, you want to make sure they don't accidentally move. So I'll go to View, Guides. If it says unlock, that's a good thing. That means they're locked down. I'm safe. Okay, so if it says unlock guides, I'm good to go. If it says lock guides, then click that. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to take my black arrow, select right where the lines for the pizza slice cross over the circle right there. And I'm going to go to Window Menu, Path Finder. Okay, I always stick the pathfinder in the upper left, kind of out of the way. And what I want to do is divide this circle into one big chunk over here and one little pizza slice over there. So in the bottom left corner, I'm going to click Divide. Okay, whenever you use Divide, it makes a group. So go to Object Menu and ungroup the results. So now, if I clicked and dragged right here, I can click the curved arrow right underneath my magnifying tool. So we've isolated that one little pizza slice. I select the rest of the circle and delete it. I don't need it anymore. Okay, this one little pizza slice is going to fly around the center, and that's the center because I used my Smart Guides. So now I'll select this. And if you want, you can do something close to the logo, like match a similar shade of blue. Doesn't have to match exactly. Just if it's a blue logo, make it blue. Okay, and what I'm going to do is go right down here on the left side of my toolbox, press and hold, and I want my rotate tool. Okay, what you want to do is put your rotate tool right in the center of the big logo, not the center of the pizza slice. In the center of the big logo where it says intersect. Because we got to make this slice go around the center right here. Okay, so if you put your rotate tool right where the two guides meet, hold your Option or Alt key on a PC, Option key on a Mac, and click. And what that does is it brings up your rotate dialog box. Okay, so we can be precise about this. So I'm going to type in an angle of, let's say 30. Okay, what you do is you turn on your preview and you can see 30 wasn't quite far enough. So let's highlight that and type 45. Preview. There we go. These are rotated apart from each other at a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to rotate a copy at 45 degrees. And what I've just done is given Illustrator a command. Rotate an object and a copy of that object at 45 degrees. So with that command stored into memory in Illustrator on my keyboard, I'm going to hold down my command key and hit D. Command D, or the whole time, just hold down command and hit D, 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 D. Command D. Now keep in mind, unless you absolutely got everything precise in your rotation and everything, it's not going to match your scan totally perfectly. You can see a little bit of the scan peeking out right in there. But again, the bottom line is when you're done, you're going to turn off your scan or throw away your scan anyway. So who's going to know? Okay? Don't get all crazy and worried about that. As long as this logo looks like my logo on the screen, I'm good. Okay, off by a hair or two, I don't care. Just show me you know this process. Okay, so what I would do if you're working, save that file, save that logo. You got one down. And the other thing is, when you are done with using your guides, go to View, Guides, clear the guides. Get them out of the way, because if you scroll over to this logo, that's a totally different set of guides. Okay, so I'm going to use guides again. I'm going to take my black arrow, go on this side ruler, and click and drag right down the center of this logo right there. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit right there. And I don't like where that landed, so let me go to Edit, Undo. Let's just drag another ruler guide right in there. I think that was the same. Okay, well anyway. Okay, I'm on a brand new layer, a brand new logo. You can make a brand new layer if you want. You don't have to. Every time I am on a brand new logo, I recommend you hit D for default colors. Just start with defaults. I'm not drawing anything white, so I'm going to click on the white fill and hit the question mark key, and then I'm going to take my rectangle tool. All I'm going to do is start in this corner right here, click and drag down to that corner, little height of that wall, and that's all I need to start this logo. Okay, with my white arrow, my editing tool, I'm going to click outside, then I'm going to hover right over this edge, not on the corners, but right on the edge, and pull that up right to there. I'm going to slant and distort the edge of that rectangle. So now it's a wall in perspective. Okay, the problem is, not only do we have a dark orange wall, we've got a light orange wall, and they share this edge like the corner of a room. Okay, so here's the trick. You select this with your black arrow, then you go to your scale tool and you double click on the scale tool. Okay, it's going to ask you, what are you trying to scale? How big do you want it to be? I want it to be exactly the same size, 100%. I am going to scale a copy. Okay, so I click copy, and it looks like nothing happened. But what you actually did, since you set 100%, you made a copy right on top of itself. There are actually two of these here. Okay, to prove that, I'm going to click outside, then take my white arrow and hover right over this side right here. Okay, because this wall shares these corners. I have to let that side match. I'm going to come in with my white arrow right there. Click. Now I click and drag, and I'm going to pull that wall apart right over to there. And when I let go of my mouse, we have two walls. There we go, joining together right on their side to make that corner. Now this light orange wall comes down and shares that corner with this light blue or this darker blue. Okay, so I'm going to use the same trick. Select this one. Double click my scale tool for another exact copy, and I'll click copy. Again, there's another one right on top of itself. I go with my white arrow, click outside first. You got to deselect everything. Then hover over this edge, click and drag it, and pull it all the way back to the guide. Right there. There are my three walls. Okay, so what if you notice, if you look closely, this is a symmetrical logo. These three walls are a mirrored copy of these three walls. So I'm going to select all three with my black arrow. Press and hold down on my rotate tool. I'll come back to my reflect tool. And then right here on the guide, I'm going to put my reflect tool right on the guide and option click. Okay, that sets my reflect right across this vertical axis. And I'm right on that guide because I'm using my smart guides. Okay, I need to be precise. So all I'm going to do is click copy. And I've got a symmetrical object. So here's what you do to color it. I'm going to take my black arrow, select the light orange wall right here, hold shift, and select the light orange wall right there. With my eyedropper, you should be able to just click on your scan. Okay, if it doesn't work, then just fill them with a color. You know, I'm not too concerned about actual colors. That's fine. Sometimes I get a student who says their eyedropper is not working, and I can never figure out why it does that. So if you click on the scan, it works, great. If you don't, mix your own shade of orange. Just take off the outlines. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. Select this dark orange wall. Hold shift and select that dark orange wall. Take my eyedropper and click. More like a reddish orange wall. Okay, my black arrow, I'll select this dark blue wall. Eyedropper on the template. I can hold my command key for my arrow and select the light blue wall. Let go of my command key for my eyedropper and sample that light blue. And the whole idea about using smart guides is when I go to view, guides, clear the guides, all my corners are going to line up perfectly. That's what I'll be looking for when you turn in your logos. I'll zoom in, and did they use smart guides to get their corners perfect? Okay, that's the whole idea. Every corner lines up perfectly because I'm using smart guides. Okay, for this one, same thing. We'll go ahead and give you a couple of freebies here. For this one, you really just have to figure out one of these guys. I see students drawing a star and then an extra star and 20 different lines all over the place. It's crazy. Okay, I just need to find the center of my logo. So I'm going to hit D for default colors always when I go to start a new logo. Click on the white fill and hit the question mark key. And then I'm going to start with an ellipse. Okay, I don't need my smart guides popping up here, so I'll go to view, turn off smart guides, view, snap to point. Let's turn those off. And I'm going to try to estimate the center to be right about here. I'm going to hold shift for a circle and option key to draw from the center. And I just want to come out and find those outer points. So I'll hold my space bar and kind of move this down. I'm looking at the top points and the bottom of the green right there. You can see how this circle is kind of going around touching all those outer points like that. So I'm going to let go of my mouse first. And you can see how I touch the outer points right here and here and here and here. The circle is just being used to visually find the center. That's really what I need. Okay, so now I'm going to draw one of these shapes. So I'm just going to take my pen tool, command click outside to deselect, and now I'll draw one object here. Okay, I'm just going to start there. Click, shift click, come up there and click, 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 shift click, back to the start. That is it. Okay, if I select that object, I'm not going to color it yet because every one is a different color. I'm going to select that, but where did my center go? Okay, so I'm going to select the circle first. And then when I need to specifically measure the center point, I'm going to go to View, Smart Guides, View, Snap to Point. Now, like I did with the other logos, I'll start up here on this ruler, drag it down to the center. If my circle disappears or gets deselected, just select it again so you can see the center point. Over here, I'm going to click and drag right to the center. Perfect. Now I can select this little chevron here. Go back to my rotate tool. And I'm going to option click right in the center of this logo, right where the two guides meet. Option or alt click. And now I can measure out the angle. Well, 45 is not far enough. Let's type 60 and preview that. Nope. Let's try 80 and preview that. Okay, let's try 70. Ooh, let's try 72. Awesome. Okay, there it is. Little trial and error there. Wow. Okay, 72 degrees. I will rotate a copy, Command D, Command D, Command D. Duplicate a rotated copy every 72 degrees. Piece of cake. Didn't take a lot of effort. Okay, you got to think like Illustrator. So now I'm going to select this circle and delete it with my black arrow. Don't need that anymore. Now I'm going to take my black arrow, then click my eyedropper, and if I hover over here, I can hold Command key for my arrow, select an object, let go of the Command key for my eyedropper, and sample the color. Command key, select, no Command key, sample. Command key and select, no Command key, sample. Command and select, no Command key, sample. Command and select, no Command key, sample. Like a pro. Okay, so there we go. I just gave you 30 points for your midterm. You are welcome. But I'm having fun, so I'm going to do a couple more here. Okay, this logo. Yeah, it's pretty much just a bunch of shapes with the pen tool. There's no real tricks to it. There's no balance to it or anything. It's just an illustrated logo. So I'm going to go to View, Guides, clear my guides. View, don't need smart guides. View, don't need snap to point. And again, if I'm starting on a brand new logo, D for default colors. I do not need a white fill. There's no white except for the eye, but I'll fill that at the end. So I'm going to click on the white and hit the question mark key. And based on the stacking order of Adobe Illustrator, what I always do is start with the biggest object and then work smaller and smaller and smaller. So I would start with the big purple outline. And then a red shape, a white shape, a gray shape, and a blue shape here. So here's how I would start this. I'm going to start right here. Click and drag a short line up for that short curve right there. Option to start from a corner, no option at the end. Option to start, no option key at the end. Option to start, no option key at the end. Option from a corner, no option key at the end. Option to start from a corner, and no option key at the end of a curve. Now this is a long curve right to here, so I'm going to do that in 3 points. Option key to start from a corner, long line for a long curve, about halfway across right here. I'll click and drag a second point, and right here I'll click and drag a third point. There we go, pretty smooth. Okay, option key for a corner. We'll go out, shorter line because I'm only going halfway around this shorter curve. Second point for a curve, and a third point for a curve. Option key for a corner, I'll go up, come around this sharp turn right here, and go up to the left. And when I come all the way back to the start, I see that loop. So that means hold my option key. I am ending at a corner, so I'm going to hold option and end at a perfect corner. Command click. Now the outer edge is looking good. Now I'm going to do all my inside shapes. So I'll zoom in a little bit for these. And I'll draw this shape right here. 1 point there, 1 point at the end. Option key to start from a corner. No option key at the end. Option key to start. Option key to end at a corner when you are closing up a shape. Now I'll click and drag here, right there. Option key to start from a corner. No option key in the middle of the curve. No option key at the end of the curve. Option key to start from a corner. Here's a second point on this curve. Here's a third point. Gives me a little more control for that nice sharp curve. Option key to start from a corner. Let's come around this sharp turn right there. Then I'll come out to there. Option key to start from a corner and option key to end on a corner. Command click. And I'm just going to go with my ellipse. Hold option key to start from the center of the ellipse. Right here is my free transform, so I just go outside and rotate that a little bit. That looks pretty good. And now we'll finish off the red shape with my pen tool, just like I did before. Click and drag to start. Click and drag to finish a curve. Option key to start from a corner, no option key at the ends of your curves. Option key to start, no option key at the end. Option to start from a corner, no option key at the ends of my curves. Option key to start from a corner, no option key at the ends of my curves. Option key to start from a corner, long line, because I'm going a long distance. And now right before this turn, I put a point before that turn. Notice I had to drag a pretty long line there. So I'm just going to back up to this point, click and drag again a shorter line to continue for this shorter curve right there. Look at that. Big arch. 1, 2, 3 points. Nice. Okay, from here all the way around to there is still going to be 3 points. Option key to start from a corner. There's the first point. Come around that turn going up. There's my second point. And there's my third point. Option key for a corner. No option key here at the end. Option key for a corner. No option key at the end. Option key to start from a corner. And option key when I am finishing on a corner. Okay, right there. Now when I zoom out, now I take my black arrow, then I click my eyedropper, and you fill from the smallest shape back to the largest shape. Okay, so you don't want to select the large one with your command key, let go, and then click, because then you can't see any of the other colors. So I'll undo that. I start with the smallest shape. Hold command key and click. Let go of command key, sample that color. Command key and click on the edge, let go of the command key and sample. Command click, let go of command to sample. Command and click, let go and sample. Command and click, let go of the command key, sample the color. Save your progress. That is another one. You just earned 40 points for your midterm. Okay, I think I've helped you enough on these. These are a bunch of shapes. Just be aware when you zoom in, the upper part of the beak is a little bit lighter than the lower part. If it's hard to see that, you can double click to the right of your template and dim it maybe to 60% if it helps you to see things. I always like to go with 30% because it helps me to see my artwork. And let's see a couple other hints. This one is a symmetrical logo. Draw the left half, flip it, and join the halves together to create one logo. Even though this one looks like it's a really simple logo, there is a reason why I picked it. And you'll find that soon enough. It's hard to get these perfect vertical edges. So I want to see if you can figure out the trick to this logo. Okay, for this eagle, Very similar to what you got for this bird. So I would always start with the largest outline first, then the next smaller shape, which would be the big black shape, and then the next smaller shape, which would be the gray shapes. Okay, one big gray tracing, and then the white shape on top of that. You're going to have to stack colors correctly. Okay, so that's the trick with that. And I'll show you one last hint on this one. So I'm going to zoom in, D for default, like I always do. Click on the white fill. Even though the letters are white, you fill them at the end, not at the beginning. So I'm going to hit the question mark key, and I'm going to start with my layer for my logos. And I'm going to start right here. Just click and drag up, right up here, before a sharp turn, in the middle of a sharp turn, and coming around a sharp turn. This edge is pretty smooth, so right down here, before a sharp turn, in the middle of a sharp turn, coming out of a sharp turn, and Option key to end at a corner. Okay, for this letter, I'm just going to start here, cut right across this shape, right up to there. Option key for a corner to start, in the middle of a sharp turn, coming to the top of a sharp turn, coming around the side of a sharp turn. Now down here I'll do the same. The beginning of the sharp turn at the bottom of that sharp turn at the bottom, coming out of a sharp turn, and Option key to end at a corner. Then I'll just start by overlapping a shape right here, come around and around and around and back to the start. Okay, remember, you can select those two and use your shape builder. I'll just scribble these together to make one nice smooth letter E. Okay, I'll do the rest for you here. Start with the G, come up and over, come around and around, and we'll go way up here. Taking big shortcuts because I want to get this done. There we go. Around the turn, under the turn, before a sharp turn, right after a sharp turn, down the side, around a sharp turn, and Option key to end at a corner. Now the letter O has an opening in it. So again, start with the biggest shape and then draw the smaller shape on top of it. So I'm going to start right here. 1 point across the top, 1 point down the side, 1 point across the bottom, 1 point up the other side, and back to the start. I didn't hold Option key because that's not a corner. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the inside. 1 point at the top, 1 point down the side, 1 point across the bottom, 1 point up the other side, and back to the start. There we go. Okay, so here's the issue. If I select all of these and I just hit the letter D for default colors, they are white letters. They got a little black outline, but we have a thick black outline. Plus the letter O needs an opening. Okay, so I'm going to select just the two shapes for the letter O, go to my shape builder, and if I hold Option key, I get a minus. So I'm going to Option click the center, click to punch out the center. So you can see it right there. I've punched out the center of the O. Okay, but now I've got these big marshmallow puffy letters, but when I select them all and I start hitting my stroke, they're going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and that looks terrible. I'm seeing less and less and less of the white. So what I have to do is go to my stroke panel right up here and make sure the stroke alignment is outside. Okay, like that. Now it's not going to clog or cover up the whites. It's staying outside the white letters. but that's a little too thick. So see, looks like that stroke is about, let's go 10. But notice what it's doing. The L is slightly tucking underneath the E is tucking underneath the G is tucking underneath the O. That's not what the Lego logo looks like. It looks like that. 4 white letters with a black surrounding shape, not an overlapping shape. That doesn't look good. So I somehow have to trick Illustrator into thinking this is one big logo, not 4 separate letters. Each letter is going to get its own stroke. So Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Every letter will get its own stroke and they start to overlap. There's no way I could draw this letter correctly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is reselect it all, hit D for default colors, and then I'm going to trick Illustrator into thinking this is all one big logo right up here. Object menu, compound path, and make. Now when I come up to the stroke, I want the stroke outside the letters here. And now I make the stroke bigger and bigger and bigger. And now they do not overlap. Okay, if I go to Window menu and Appearance, which it has a check mark, which means I'm already looking at it. So here it is. Let me tear the Appearance panel out. And what this is showing me is I have made white letters, but I don't want these little triangles pointing down, so I'm going to click that little triangle. I made a white fill for my letters. Here, I'll close up that triangle. I made a black stroke around them. Okay, all I have to do is click on the stroke, and what I'm used to doing is always putting the stroke under the fill, because you never want your stroke to accidentally cover up your art, so I always tuck it under the art, just like tucking a layer underneath another layer. So this says, and I get a little gap right there. Let's make this stroke 11. There we go. Okay, 11 points outside the letters. On this stroke, you can see it's highlighted in blue. I'm currently working on this stroke. I just go to the pop-up on my Appearance panel and add another new stroke. Okay, that one's also on the outside, so I'll click right here and change the color to yellow. Click over here and make it 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, let's go 20. There we go. Look at that. Now my letters meet and connect. They don't overlap. The black is going around them, not on top of them. The yellow is staying on the outside. This is perfect. All I would need to finish up this logo is draw one big red box with an outline. Obviously, if you draw that now, it's going to sit on top. So if I set my stroke here, let's click outside and go black. Click on the fill. Actually, let's just hit D for default colors. There we go. Okay, fill will be red. Now when I go to my rectangle and I click and drag, if this is the last or latest thing I'm drawing, it's obviously going to cover up my logo, which is fine. You just go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. There we go. I can click on the stroke, weight right here. We'll make that maybe 5. And there's my black arrow. Okay, that looks good, but I lost my little registered trademark. So I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second. And the way you can type in a registered trademark is you take your type tool, hit Command T for type, and I'm going to set my font from Myriad. I'm going to highlight the name of the font and type ARI for Arial. We'll go Arial Bold. I'm just going to click once, and on my keyboard, I hold the Option key and type the letter R. Option and R is a registered trademark, typographically. So now with my black arrow, I can just highlight the size, blow that up a little bit, Let's go like 22 points. Dang, that is really close. I'll go with 22. It's good enough for me. Okay, there we go. Let's just put this red right back underneath. And like a pro, there you go, Legos. You'll be working in Denmark in no time. Okay, so here's what I've gotten so far. 10, 20, 30, 40. What's this guy worth? Ooh, 20 more points. You've just earned almost half your midterm right there. 40, 60 points out of 130. Geez, I'm giving you everything. Give you videos, I give you the answers. You better love me as an instructor, I'm telling you. Okay, but that's because I care. So you show me that you care about the rest. When you are totally done, you're going to take your bottom scan, throw it in the trash. I just want to see your logos. I do not need to see the scan. Just show me what you've drawn. I don't care if you do a logo on every different layer or not, or just do them all in one. That means nothing to me. What means everything to me is you drawing these logos correctly. So I wish you good luck. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Bye.